Everyone, welcome to the State Water Grab Rally. Yeah, State Water Grab Rally, not a chance that's going to happen. You know, when you organize something like this, you're always worried that people aren't going to show up, and you end up with a marching band and people from up and down the state saying this is not going to happen. I appreciate everyone coming from long and close to be here. My name is Vito Chiesa, Stanislaus County Supervisor, and one of the helpers of this rally. A couple things, I want people to come forward. It's okay to come up here, just can't keep the signs in front of the TV station. You gotta put your signs down. If you're in front of the TV stations, any one of the people who are speaking, please come up here and stand to my right. We're going to try and keep this thing rolling for sure. So again, I appreciate all of you taking the time to be here. And I would tell you, the first speaker, this wouldn't be possible today without him, Assembly Member Adam Gray. So, no one has put more time or resources into this event, into this issue beyond the irrigation districts. They've been wonderful partners. But Adam is a true champion here in the legislature to try and stop this state water grab. So please join me in welcoming our champion, Adam Gray.
It was President John F. Kennedy at the groundbreaking of the San Luis Reservoir in 1962 who said, "We can see the greenest and richest earth producing the greatest and richest crops in the country. And then a mile away we see that same earth and see it brown and dusty and useless. And all because there is water in one place and there isn't in another." In the 1960s, the first Governor Brown oversaw the largest investments in infrastructure in modern memory. Brown's system brought reliability for all of California. It included the construction of 16 dams, 18 pumping stations, 9 power plants, and the 444-mile-long California Aqueduct. These investments spawned the richest and most productive agricultural region in the world. They created enormous opportunity and economic growth for all of California. Over the past half-century, California has done almost nothing to continue this work. Instead, the California State Water Resources Control Board has put forward a plan to take that very water away and to take away that opportunity. This plan will decimate the economy in the Central Valley. We stand to lose $1.6 billion and over 6,000 jobs in my community alone. For the past 6 years, I have repeatedly called on the Water Board to listen to our concerns. They have refused. Today, our community has come to the steps of the state capitol to make sure our voices are heard loud and clear. We're going to hear from some of our elected officials who have been right by my side in this fight. We're going to hear from farmers, teachers, business owners, healthcare providers, and students. They're all worried about one thing, our future. Right now, a group of unaccountable bureaucrats are making final preparations to adopt a plan they admit will decimate our communities. They call this plan unavoidable, significant but unavoidable impacts. What arrogance. A plan that kills the economy of an entire region of the state isn't unavoidable, it's unacceptable. This plan asks those of us with the fewest means to make the greatest sacrifice. It is unbalanced, unscientific, and can only come from a state agency that is completely out of touch with reality. 6 years ago, Governor Jerry Brown signed a law which made a promise to every Californian. It said we have a right to safe, clean, affordable drinking water. This plan breaks that promise. We are here today to let the governor know, to let the state water know, that we deserve better. We will continue to fight this plan in the halls of the legislature, at the water board, in the courts, and if we need to, we will take this directly to the people on the ballot. Thank you all for being here today, and let's keep up the fight.
You see why he's our leader, right? Yeah. Okay, next up we have someone who's going to be impacted, maybe not today, but in the future. We have, representing the Future Farmers of America, Mr. Jared Crossman.
First off, I'd like to say thank you for all the people here supporting this. It's truly great. You guys are amazing. I'm proud to say that I'm amongst all these people in the blue and gold. These people are your future of ag. Now, if we get the water we want, they will be the ones producing your crops, all the stuff you need with the water that we're going to get. Because we're going to fight for it until it stops. Thank you for everyone coming here to support this. We need our water, and we need it now.
Thank you very much, Jared. Next up, we have one of my colleagues, former Republican minority leader here in the legislature, Supervisor Kristen Olson.
Good morning! We are thrilled that we have so many people here from so many different communities throughout California. We have people here from the San Joaquin Valley, the Bay Area, the beautiful North State, the South Valley, and all over the place in this great state. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. We are standing in unity to tell the state, don't steal our water. Republicans and Democrats, environmentalists and farmers, cities, counties, young and old, we are here, as I said, in unity to say don't devastate our economy, our environment, our rivers. Don't steal our water. Our area forefathers built and paid for our water infrastructure themselves. They had the foresight to invest in their future and our present, to make sure that we had ample water supplies to provide for our schools, our businesses, our farms, our hospitals, our families, for every single one of us. And the state can't just play the bully and dismiss that, because we won't let them. Assemblyman Adam Gray and I have been in this fight with you for nearly 6 years now. We have worked with the State Water Board, the Department of Fish and Wildlife, the Governor's Office, and others to try to understand their approach, to make them understand our concerns, and to help broker a resolution. And yet, at every turn, the state has refused to give anything other than lip service. They shut down legitimate questions, and now they continue to push a proposal that has no basis in science or data, and that will devastate our water supply and our economy. Friends, cooperation has not worked, and next they're coming after your community. It is time to fight. It is time to fight. It is time to fight against the Water Board's sinister, arrogant, dishonest, and closed approach, and demand a proposal that will actually help both people and fisheries. And so as the next speaker comes up, please join me in standing up and screaming, "Don't grab our water! Don't 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 grab our water!"
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Okay, so next up we have from the 12th Senate District, my senator, Senator Anthony Cannella.
Well, I have to tell you, it's an unfortunate thing that's brought everybody together, but I'm pretty excited to see all these people here. And I can tell you, this is probably the biggest thing that we have ever fought as a valley. If you look at the Water Board and what they're trying to do, we're looking at upwards of 250,000 acres of fallowed ag ground. Now, I was raised in the Central Valley. I'll live in the Central Valley the rest of my life, and I'm proud of the Central Valley, but the reality is we have issues. And agriculture has been the one bright light that we've had through the downtimes. Now, I'm excited to say we're starting to grow as an economy, but we cannot leave agriculture behind. And we look at what the Water Board's trying to do. And they say it's 40% unimpaired flows, but the reality is the proposal is 40 to 60%. They don't care about what we're going through in the valley. What it will do is it will create dead pools in our reservoirs. We can no longer use the rivers, because it's not only unimpaired flows, it's carryover water as well. They want to have water in those reservoirs that is cold enough that the fish can, or whatever we're trying to do with the water, I guess, but I think it's for the fish. But it's much bigger than unimpaired flows. And I'm very concerned. We have water districts and supervisors and legislators that have worked tirelessly to work with the Water Board, and it falls on deaf ears all of the time. They have not changed their proposal one time from when they first unveiled it a couple of years ago. Even though these irrigation districts have spent millions of dollars to try to show them, look, your science is not correct. We will work with you. We have other plans. We understand what you're trying to do. It continues to fall on deaf ears. So we've got a couple of weeks left in this session, and I can assure you, all legislators, Republican, Democrat, that represent these areas are going to fight hand in hand to stop this. Now we have the Water Board meets tomorrow and Wednesday. We have convinced them to put off their decision for a couple of weeks, so that gives us additional time. But if they vote to take our water, this does not end there. We will be in court for 100 years fighting this. So thank you for being here, and thank you for fighting.
Champion after champion. Next up, we have a congressman from the 10th Congressional District, Congressman Jeff Denham.
Well, let the governor hear your noise! We need the governor to hear us not just today, but every day. Some say that this is the state's water. Be very clear, this is our water, our valley, our ratepayers paid for it. And we're not going to stop until we conserve every last drop for the people that we represent.
I'm in Sacramento.
Our kids should not have to suffer bad water quality because somebody's trying to take the water that we pay for. We should be shutting down our number one industry in the valley and our number one industry in the state because somebody wants to take our water and waste it and push it out to the ocean. Now we have paid. As a farmer, as a family, as a community, we have paid. Through our water rates, through our electricity rates, we paid for that infrastructure. And we're not going to let them take it away from us.
I'm sorry.
This is a state water grab like we've never seen before. We've also paid for the studies, $25 million plus. Our ratepayers have paid higher rates to pay for the studies that the state has forced us to do, that the state is now ignoring to take our water. So I'm asking all of you, don't just let your voice be heard today, let it be heard every day that we will not stop until we preserve our water and focus on the water for our future. We need to build building more, not shutting down what we already have. We are in this together. We are in this together for the valley. The valley's water for the valley, keeping it together. Thank you.
The only man I know that doesn't need a microphone, right? So next up, representing our president of the California Farm Bureau Federation, Jamie Johansson.
What the congressman said a couple more times, please, Congressman. Thank you very much. My name is Jamie Johansson. I'm the president of the California Farm Bureau. And I'm proud of all our members and our counties and bringing your members out here to be heard, and the FFA, and the My Job Depends on Ag. This is a turning point. As a young farmer, I've only heard stories, but today we will tell the stories to our kids about standing up for our water and our rights. Like many of you, I'd rather be on my farm taking care of my land, wishing that Sacramento would take their foot off my neck. But there comes a time when you must stand up and say enough is enough. Today is that day. Water is the lifeblood that has built our communities, and water rights are the foundation. Today is not about small farms or large farms. It's not about large cities or small communities. Today is about everyone benefiting from California's water rights system. If you turn on a faucet or an irrigation pump, you benefit from water rights. Everyone benefits from protecting our water. Every day we are asked to cut back, conserve, and do more with less. In fact, over the last 30 years, agriculture has cut its water use by 24%, and we grow 34% more. So we are answering that call, whether a farmer or resident. We have all been made to sacrifice. We have all become efficient. But now when it comes to unimpaired flows, the water board doesn't want to be efficient. Instead, they want to rely on hunches and assumptions that cannot guarantee any benefits to the environment, our farms, or our communities. We know that just shoving more water down a stream doesn't create more fish. It is simply a waste of water, and we cannot afford to waste water in this state. That wasted water means less food, less jobs, lower property values, and poorer communities throughout the state. But there is another way. There is a way to use water efficiently to protect fish, farms, communities, and our way of life. There is a way to use positive, collaborative, and local approaches that we know help the environment and still allow farms and communities to thrive. The mantra of Sacramento is always to restrict, prohibit, and denigrate. We propose to cooperate, to work together, to implement positive solutions. And now, we look to our state legislators here to help us reclaim water for our communities. We will start that with Farm Bureau introducing a bill, SB 579, with Senator Galgiani to provide that pathway. This will force the board to incorporate the latest scientific knowledge and make efficient, reasonable decisions. SB 579 forces the board to recognize that our farms and our lands can be used to create habitat, and that controlling predators will also save fish. And finally, SB 579 forces the board to acknowledge and accept that there are win-win solutions that allow the environment, our farm, and our communities all to thrive. We know this because we do it every day on our farms. Thank you, and God bless you all for showing up today.
Next up, from the 32nd Assembly District, Rudy Salas. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Why are we here? Water, that's right. You know, for too long, we've had these fights. My colleagues are here behind me. We had this fight in Sacramento. We had this fight in this building. And it's about how important water is to our communities. It's about time that we stand up and we continue to stand up and say, you know what, it's not just about the river and the salmon and all these different types of fish. It's about making sure that our communities have the water they need to succeed and to thrive, right? We can clap for that, that's fine. We can clap for that. We care about our communities. For far too long, we know that our communities, our ag community, is not the villain in this, right? We've done everything from drip water systems to saving water year in and year out. And you know, me and my colleagues, we look at each other and we're like, when was it a crime to grow food to put on our tables? When was it a crime to demand that we have safe drinking water? Right? It's time to bring common sense back into the state capitol. It's time to bring common sense back in. We have a proposal now, right, in Senator Galgiani's bill that we're all going to look at and hopefully be supportive of. But it's time that we all stand up and say, don't forget about us. Don't forget about our communities. Don't forget that we are here, we vote, we matter, and we do matter. It does make a difference. I'm so glad that each and every single one of you from all the counties across the entire state are here today to say, water means life for me, my family, and my community. It's important for me to be here. Sacramento, please keep us in mind. Don't forget us. Don't forget to prioritize me and my family, because we do make a difference. It's not a crime. We do matter. We do make a difference. So if there's one thing you want to tell the governor, what would it be? Stop the grab. That's right. Stop the water grab. Prioritize our communities. Prioritize me and my family. Prioritize putting food on the table. Prioritize us because we matter. Thank you guys.
Outstanding. Okay, next up from the 4th Congressional District, Congressman Tom McClintock. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, folks. You know, the irony is we live in one of the most water-rich regions of the country, and yet our families are now facing the threat of catastrophic water shortages and year-round water rationing. Not because of any act of God, but because of breathtakingly stupid acts of government. And that we can change. You know, the memo to Sacramento, we don't build these reservoirs to more efficiently dump water into the ocean. We build them to store surplus water from wet times so that we have plenty in dry times. State government has forgotten this. They forgot that before we built our reservoirs, in a drought, rivers all but dried up and there were no fish.
Right.
They've forgotten that raging floodwaters blew out entire riparian habitats. And they've forgotten that millions of human beings for whom they're supposed to work depend on the water stored in those reservoirs for their prosperity and their quality of life. Our would-be rulers may have forgotten that, but we haven't, and we're about to remind them. We're at a crossroads between two very different visions of the future. One is the nihilistic vision of the environmental left. Increasingly severe government-induced water shortages, higher and higher prices for electricity and water and food, fewer jobs, and a permanently declining quality of life for our children who will be mandated to stretch and ration every drop of water in their lives. The other is a vision of abundance, of great new reservoirs that guarantee plentiful water, hydroelectricity, jobs, recreation, affordable groceries, a prosperous future for our children who can enjoy the quality of life that abundant water guarantees. This is a choice, and it is a clear choice. Scarcity or abundance, prosperity or poverty, and this choice requires the active engagement of every citizen to take back this government of, by, and for the people.
Thank you very much, Congressman. Next up, we have Jose Gonzalez, and he is the superintendent of Planada Elementary School District. Jose.
Good afternoon. afternoon. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I'm the proud superintendent of the Plano Elementary School District. Our district resides in southeast Merced County. Like many others in Merced County, our schools are dependent on groundwater. Our learning community serves approximately 1,000 preschool to 8th grade students. Ironically, nearly the same amount of fish that would be restored by the water grab. 98% of our students are Latino, 93% socially and economically disadvantaged. For us, the loss of recharge value of the surface water will have a draconian impact on our district, students, and staff. That is why every school district in Merced County, representing 115 schools, nearly 57,000 students, wrote a letter to the Water Board to include mitigation measures and fully analyze the groundwater impacts. Felicia Marcus and the Water Board simply refused to do so, saying that California's new groundwater law left those decisions up to local government. They wouldn't even meet with us to explain the assumptions where they got the data, or where they got the data from where they made those assumptions. It's hard not to conclude that they simply do not care about us or our students. We already know our groundwater is seriously threatened. They have all the well data, we provided all the well data necessary. When they say that farmers who lose surface water can simply pump groundwater to replace it, they're not telling the truth. And they know that is false. When they say they cannot estimate, how can you take such action if you cannot accurately estimate the true impact of loss on the groundwater that it will have in recharging the aquifers that we have to wonder why would it proceed in such light and such ignorance? Our districts in Merced County cannot afford to spend millions of dollars to make and upgrade wells and re-drill wells. I'm not an expert in water policy or water government, but I know this much. 1,000 educated students should and always should supersede 1,000 fish. Thank you all for coming out today. You're standing up for our children and our hard-working families and parents and farmers here in the great state of California. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. Next up, we have, hailing from the 12th Assembly District, Assembly Member Heath Flora.
All right, well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming to Sacramento. It's a privilege to be up here and represent each and every one of you. Every day we come up here, we see groups assemble on these steps. We see groups walk the halls of Sacramento. But today, it's our turn. It's the Central Valley's turn. It's the farming community's turn to fight for the number one thing we have going for us, and that's our water rights. So friends, I just want to say thank you. I know this week we started harvesting a lot of different crops and commodities up and down the state, and it's incredibly challenging to get out and come to Sacramento. But your dedication to this cause gives all of us the energy to continue to fight for you every day. Without you out here today, none of this is possible at the state legislature, so thank you for committing your time. We are not only just talking about water, we're talking about the very lifeblood of our economy, the very lifeblood of our communities, and the economic drivers of our entire constituency. And friends, it's time we stop the bleeding. We must fight for this. We must fight for our rights. And thank you for being here. And God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Next up, we have a council member from the Modesto City Councilman, Modesto City Council, Councilman Manny Graywall.
Good afternoon. I'm so proud to be here today with all of you. Many of us have come together for this very important cause. I want to thank Assemblymember Gray for his unparalleled leadership on this issue that has brought all of us together. federal, state, and local officials as well. This is the most important issue we will face in the Central Valley region, and it will affect over 1 million people. This issue has united farmers, irrigation districts, educators, businesses, and our students. And I please get a round of applause for our next generation, our students. If the State Water Board had been transparent, reasonable, and used fact-based evidence, we wouldn't be here today. We asked the Water Board for many years to work with us. They refused. They didn't listen, and they dismissed our concerns. They are still using flawed science. They say this will fix the fisheries, but admit in their own report that their modeling used to reach this conclusion is flawed.
Probably.
2 years ago,
I don't know.
many of us may
I'm down
recall,
in Sacramento
thousands of
right
us
now.
wrote letters to the Water Board, signed petitions, attended hearings, and urged a fair and transparent process. The result? No significant changes whatsoever. Our ideas were dismissed. Our questions were ignored. There was no dialogue. There was no transparency. And don't be fooled by the rhetoric of some. Some may say this is blue against red. It isn't. Some may say this is fish against farmers. It isn't. Some may even say this is the North versus the South. This isn't. This is the state of California trying to fix 50 years of neglect to our statewide
Yeah, I'll probably be there tonight.
Anything actually to add to our water supply. I'm proud to be and represent the city of Modesto, where it's a great example of how things are done right. We serve urban users, agriculture users. We've improved our water quality and helped restore the aquifers. Understand what I'm about to say, and this might sound appalling. Ratepayers paid for the reservoirs. We paid for the water treatment plant. We paid for the infrastructure. And they want to take our water from us? It's not going to happen. We want answers. How are they going to mitigate the effects on our economy? So we will never, never, never surrender. We will continue the fight. Thank you all for coming together. Thank you so much.
I think I agree with the council member. That's really good. All right, next up from the 4th Senate District, Senator Jim Nielsen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what a great outpouring of common sense. So very absent. I want to focus on a couple of points for us to dwell on. The law says that people, and that means agriculture, have a water right. Now, isn't it silly that we would even have to say that, the statute? But that is in the new California Water Plan, negotiated laboriously by many of us in 2010 or 9. It says humans have a water right. The innovative words are co-equal goals. So we at least are humans co-equal to the critters. Wow. Well, you know, that is a huge victory, because I've watched for decades when they have elevated and elevated above. Human use used to be number one. That is in. And to agencies of government. A lot of us worked hard a couple of years later to secure passage of Proposition 1. Wherein was included $2.7 billion for large surface storage, not frittered away in small little projects. There was other titles in there for small projects, but the $2.7 billion was for large storage, and the governor even represented it when he argued in favor of Prop 1. And guess what? When the Water Commission finally voted for the apportionment, They're barely got enough to help Sykes Reservoir. They did not provide enough at all for Temperance Flat, which should have been the other reservoir. We have taken a stand by the vote of the people that humans have a water right, and the state should provide that storage, working with others. We cannot let the bureaucrats in government or leaders in government forget that. Last time in a generation or two of generations that we have this opportunity. Seize the time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here.
Fantastic. Thank you, Senator. Next up, from the 16th Congressional District, Congressman Jim Costa.
Good afternoon. Are you excited? Are you motivated? Terrific. I want to thank Adam Gray and everybody who was a part of this, and each and every one of you and these incredible students representing high schools from all over the state for being here and making your voices heard today, right? That's what this is about, making our voices heard to the State Water Board and to the people of California, that it's about time that we fix this broken water system in California. Our future depends on it, right? You know, we have a saying in the valley, where water flows, food grows, right? It's common sense. And yet we take for granted the incredible production of food and fiber that's put on America's dinner table every night because of the people, the hardworking people, the farmers, the farm workers, the dairymen and women, and the campesinos, the farm workers, who make that happen every night. We will not be taken for granted again anymore. We have work to do. You know, it's not an overstatement to say, stop the state water grab. It's not an overstatement. Stop the water grab! Yes, stop the water grab! Can I hear you? Stop the water grab!
Stop the water grab!
Stop the water grab!
Stop the water grab!
Stop the water grab! There we go. You know, I told the water board last year in testimony that it's pretty easy to reallocate water when it's not your water. But you know what? It doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't solve a problem. The bottom line is that we have ideas and proposals that our local water districts have come together with that could address the sustainability of the water for the Merced area, for the Stanislaus, for the Tuolumne, to ensure that we have the sustainability of California agriculture that puts that food on America's dinner table every night. And at the same time, balance the environmental needs that we care about. We're good custodians. We all live here. We want to have a bright future for all California. And we want to have a water system that provides the needs and the sustainability for all of California. But what we're not willing to do is simply have our water continue to be taken from us and not see some accountability. You know, we've done our part. Over the last 20-25 years, 2.5 billion acre-feet of water. 2.5 billion acre-feet of water has been reallocated for other purposes, other environmental needs, and we don't have much to show for it. So we're not going to go down that road again. We have proposals on the table that will improve California fisheries, require less water, and address the other factors that are negatively impacting it. But the bottom line is, we need to have our own water reliability throughout California, throughout our valley, to ensure that where water flows, food grows, right? It's time to stop picking winners and losers and fix our broken water system. Stop the water grab. Stop the water grab. Stop the water grab. Together, working together, we shall solve this problem. God bless each and every one.
Next up, from the 30th Assembly District, Ana Caballero, Assemblywoman Ana Caballero. I see she's back.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, first, let me give a big thank you to Adam Gray for his leadership and in organizing this get-together. You look fabulous. You look fabulous. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm the chair of the Assembly Committee on Agriculture, and I know that you know that California has the most productive ag land in the world. That's right. The cash receipts are close to $47 billion a year out of California by itself. We produce over 400 commercial crops that are grown on 77,000 farms and ranches, which in total equal 25.5 million acres. 90% of those are family farms, and there are more than 400,000 workers that produce the bounty. How many of you like to eat? Well, I like to eat too, and the bottom line is that this bounty is threatened with these water board restrictions. Our food supply is threatened, our farms are threatened, our economy is threatened, our workforce is threatened. Water is our lifeblood, and we can't just stand by and do nothing. We've got to demand that the water board reconsider this decision. We got to demand that we are at the table and that we have a discussion about the importance of our rural economy. We have to demand that this stop and that the water that is promised flows and that we get the dam storage built. We deserve it. They need to listen to us, and if we don't get a seat at the table, then they're going to have to deal with us, right? Stop the water grab! Stop the water grab! Stop the water grab! Stop the water grab! So I was asked to say a few words in Spanish, so I'm going to do that. La Junta Estatal de Agua ha tomado una decisión muy negativa para nuestra comunidad. Lo que sabemos es que va a dañar a comunidades rurales, que va a dañar a los rancheros, a los trabajadores, a todos que dependen en agrícola para mantener la economía. Tenemos que parar esta decisión, tenemos que tomar acción y su presencia hoy indique que está junto con nosotros. Tenemos que parar la decisión del agua, tenemos que luchar, tenemos que trabajar bastante duro para parar esta decisión. Gracias por su presencia hoy.
Muy bien, gracias. Anna, thank you very much for being here. Next up, Congressional Congressman from the 1st District, Congressman Don LaMalfa.
Glad to be here with you all. I used to toil in this place for 8 years when I did an 8-year sentence in the Senate. So it's good to be back here with people with dirt under their fingernails, right? So, I see a lot of great signs here. Mi trabajo depende de ag. Su futuro depende de ag. A friend of mine said, their retirement depends on ag. Our next meal depends on ag. Yes? So are we going to stand here, yell here, and allow 3 appointed bureaucrats to decide the future of billions of dollars worth of economy, our ag economy we have in this state that grows the finest, best, highest quality, safest foods anywhere in the world? 3 bureaucrats to make this decision. Are we going to hold accountable the people to put those bureaucrats in place, those that are elected? They can hear you. They'll be inside here in a few minutes. They're in the Senate down there already. We're going to run around there in a few minutes and go yell up in that room too. Say hi to the admirers on the way down. There's about 10 of them on the west steps, I hear. Anyway, so we outnumber because we are all people that enjoy the food we grow in California and depend on that to be grown in California. I'm a farmer in my real life up here. Our family's doing about 87 years. And so many of us love what we do well in this state, and agriculture is a cornerstone of that. So, Accountability is what this place needs. Accountability by all of us, being here and not just stopping after today, after this rally. Because not only are they after the water in San Joaquin, but they're turning their sights towards the Sacramento River system, or the Sacramento Valley as well. Shasta Dam up there, you know, in Shasta County, which is on fire right now due to forestry, but that's another rally. So, we have to stop these people in their tracks because we elect people to make these decisions, not give it over to the hands of 3 bureaucrats, 3 out of 5, that could make such a massive decision. And look at the unity we have here. Republicans and Democrats standing here today, right? We have our farmers and we have our farm workers standing here together today. And let me throw a curveball at you here too. We even have us in the rural part of the state united with San Francisco. Because under this plan, if they get to do what they're allowed to do, San Francisco's going to be cut to 20 gallons per day in water supply. 20 gallons. They're not going to be very happy about it. So as I leave here, let's remember, let's not let them cut us off here, because I don't want to have to be, or you don't have to be subsisting on a water that comes in a can as if we're living on a fire line somewhere, okay? Let's stop this water grab. Stop this water grab. Stop this water grab. Stop this water grab. Stop the water grab. God bless you.
Thank you. That was awesome. I didn't even cue him. That was great. Okay, so next up we have the mayor of the city of Merced, Mayor Mike Murphy.
Fred Jim just said give him hell. How about that? This is worth our fight. I'm proud to be standing with you here today in solidarity. The city of Merced, like other Central Valley communities, continues to battle with an unemployment rate typically double that of the state of California. If the state takes Merced's river water, it will have a crushing effect on the Central Valley. For a disadvantaged community like Merced, it will mean the loss of more than 3,000 jobs and over $30 million to our local economy. But that's just in one city. This will be repeated in towns and in communities up and down the Central Valley. Valley communities are struggling to recover from the Great Recession, and the state plan will put us back on our knees. We will not let that happen. It will be even worse when we have another extended drought, like the one we just experienced. Under this plan, a drought would shut down agriculture, shut down growth, and we would have thousands of acres of abandoned crops. And much of our fertile valley would look like something out of the grapes of wrath. The state has invested billions towards growth, for example in Merced, with the University of California Merced, affordable housing projects. We have also invested in ourselves and in our future for generations to come, including building and paying for water infrastructure. However, none of that is sustainable without a reliable water source. I'm here today to urge the State Water Resources Control Board, along with you, to abandon its water grab and work with local water districts to implement plans based on $25 billion of disregarded science. That does restore some flows, restores habitat, upgrades hatcheries, and reduces predation. Let this science work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up from the 3rd Assembly District, former colleague of mine on the Board of Supervisors down in Stanislaus County, Assemblymember James Gallagher.
Well, thank you, Vito. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. I just want to say this. A little bit. This is about something much bigger than just this rally. I want you to think about that as you go home today. We're making a big statement here today, but it's about something much bigger. I hail from the northern Sacramento Valley, and we have a huge contingent here today to stand in solidarity with you. Let me hear it from you. And we're here today because if they can do it in Stanislaus, and they can do it in Merced, that's right. They can do it in Tuolumne, they're going to do it to us. Yep. And they're going to do it up and down the valley, and they're going to do it in your urban communities. They're going to take your water. And so we need to be together and united. What I'm excited about is the unity that I'm seeing here today. A bipartisan unity. It's not about what crop you grow. It's not about what area you're from. It's the people finally standing up to unaccountable bureaucrats that have been given power over us. And we didn't get here overnight, folks. This is what we have to do. For a long time, we've allowed the power to be taken away from the people and given to unelected, unaccountable bureaucracies. And what needs to be done after this point, that's why our forests are burning right now. Because of bureaucrats, because of radical policy that does not take into account people. It doesn't take into account us. That's why we're seeing our water infrastructure crumbling apart. I represent Oroville. That's why we see our water infrastructure crumbling apart while no new storage is being built in this state. There's something wrong with that. And it's going to take all of you. Leave this place with this energy and take it to the ballot box. And hold us accountable to do that job of restoring the power of this democracy back to the people and taking it away from those three people. How undemocratic is that? We should never allow it. Take it to the ballot box. We'll be there with you. We're going to march in solidarity until we take back this republic for the people of this state. Thank you.
Next up, we have from the 26th Assembly District, Assembly Member Devin Mathis.
We got the band going, thanks. Welcome to the great Republic of California, where we claim we are the 5th largest economy in the world. That's something to be proud of, right? What's garbage is that my hometown, the city without water, Porterville, California, Eastside Porterville, we have no water still. To see everybody here from all areas of the state, north, south, east, west, everybody unified, that's what it's about. Now I'll tell you something. I'm the first combat veteran with a Purple Heart elected to state office, and I'll tell you this, I didn't go to war for this. But I will go to war to stop the water grab. This is about our families, this is about our future. This isn't about unelected bureaucrats that can't even understand science. This is about all the work that's gone in. This is about taking care of our families, our future farm, our agricultural communities. Even our urban communities are out here today because they know the science. They know Felicia Marquez and the State Water Board got this one wrong. Now, I always say this back home. You know, we all preach to the choir a lot. But today, we took that choir on a road show. We're here on the Capitol, we're here on the steps, and we're here to say one simple thing. Stop the water grab!
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for your service. Next up, that's right, a hand. Next up, we have the CEO of the Livingston Community Health Centers, Leslie McGowan.
So awesome. Thank you so much. much. I am here today to represent an obvious area of this proposed policy in water reduction is really healthcare. The health of our people is at stake. My patients are the agricultural workers that reside and work in Merced and Stanislaus County. Livingston Community Health was founded by ag workers and for ag workers, and I see the effects of proposals like this every day in my waiting rooms. Today, I am here on behalf of over 20,000 patients that I represent that are 60% employed by the agricultural community, as well as 90% that are living in poverty in our Central Valley. This is a public health concern, and a reduction in any resources in a region that already suffers from poor health outcomes would only further suffer from this poor quality of life. Any decrease in water represents a loss of agricultural dependent jobs in an already fragile economy. Thank you.
Next up, from the Madera County Board of Supervisors, representing District 3, Rob Poitras.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's a great honor. Yes. Like many of you here, my brother and I represent the third generation of farmers in Madera County. And that's why that I'm here, because I'm outraged, like everybody else is, about the unscientifically supported plan to increase the unimpaired water flows to the San Joaquin River. But today, my message is going to be to the board members. So I hope somebody's listening. Board members, please hear the voices of all those who have sacrificed their time to drive as many as 4 hours or more to speak out against this plan. The word devastation may not mean much until you examine what it really looks like to families. Let's take a look and see if this is what you as a board member had in mind. Picture a parent explaining to a child they can't afford soccer shoes because they just lost their job. Picture vacant in crime-ridden neighborhoods. Visualize closed businesses and shopping centers. And imagine nightmarish fields full of dead trees that used to reduce smog and create oxygen. In essence, your plan will add poverty to a region that has too much of it. Your plan will destroy hope in a region that needs more of it. We will produce less food because of it, and because of that, it'll make food more expensive. Take our water and you tell our farmers, our farm workers, and those dependent on them that you don't value or care their work or about their ability to take care of their families. You must find a better way, one that puts people before fish. A plan that won't lead to costly litigation, one that considers our point of view. Hear our voices, consider humans who live and work in the Central Valley as part of the environment. Thank you for being here today, and God bless this great state. Thank you.
Outstanding. Okay, next up from San Joaquin County, another colleague of mine from the 3rd Supervisorial District, Supervisor Tom Patty.
Thank you all very much. Very brief. That's pretty nice. So I'm going to be brief for you guys real quick. Let me just remind the California Water Board, groceries do not grow in grocery stores. The farmers feed the state. Our farmers in San Joaquin County, where I represent, and up and down the state, we provide for generations. They have provided food for people, residents in their cities, their communities, the state, and now globally. They don't come from grocery stores. They come from the farmers who take the biggest risks of any business in America today are the farmers. Every year you don't know what the conditions or what the crop yields or what you planted will bring to you. Those farmers need our support, and that's also the #1 reason why we're here, is make sure we have sustainable food supply. For our farmers, here's to you. Officials that are up here, they have plans of action. There are solutions for every problem. What you're not getting is reception. The problem with the California Water Board and the problem with Governor Brown, he's lost his moral compass. You do not, listen to me clear, you do not make a decision to the benefit of one community and sacrifice another. Unacceptable. these steps and these representatives are working for you. We have stood up and we're standing up to be heard and let us know that we're not going to lay down while you grab our water. We stand up and fight. Thank you very much.
So we're almost at the end. I'm going to get you out of here, maybe 2 minutes late, but we have just a couple more speakers. The next one is another one of my colleagues, Merced County Supervisor from District 5, Supervisor Darren McDaniel.
And in my district is that Water High Band. They're here. I got to say, it was an interesting conversation. Whenever the decision came down, it was very startling. And you're kind of milling through, seeing what you're going to do. I got a call. I was heading to the Atwater City Council meeting, and I got a call from my colleague, Vito Chiesa. Vito says, we got to step up this fight. We got to do something special. And right then he says, we're going to have a rally on the Capitol steps. I'll never forget that. We went back to the city of Atwater, he went to the city of Houston, and we both asked for their support, and unequivocally they said they'd support us. The Water Board's personal proposal to take our surface water and send it to the Delta is nothing short of theft. Theft of our economy, theft of our water quality, theft of our public safety, and theft of our quality of life. To make matters worse, experts have concluded that this theft of our water will help fish. Meanwhile, proposed alternatives from our irrigation districts to improve fish populations have been tossed aside by the Water Board. My question is why? Why won't they work with us? Why won't they consider the alternatives that we have brought by all parties? I'll tell you why. It's a coincidence the Bay Delta's requirement is up to 50% of our unimpaired flows that matches our governor's water fix to take it to get to the tunnels to send to LA. We can talk about it here at the Capitol steps because we know that is what they're doing. Again, it's like Baptist said, it's to take from one community to give to another. It's not right. Let's stop this water grab.
Because the Assemblymember Gray has been so instrumental throughout this, I'm going to give him the last word. I first want to thank everyone for driving hundreds of miles, getting up early this morning, riding a bus, to all the sponsors that have made this possible, whether it's making signs, whether it's buying water, lunch for the kids, to the Atwater High Marching Band. A big hand. And before I turn this over to the Assembly member, I want everyone to remember tomorrow, the hearing is tomorrow and Wednesday. You can get out your phone right now. You can text RSVP water all in one word to 474747. You'll get information on the hearing and updates throughout the day. Thank you so much. Remember, the Assembly member is going to come over, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all these FFA students and yourself for taking time out for this very, very important issue. So welcome one last time, Assembly member Adam Gray.
Anybody ready to fight? Thank you all for taking the time. I want to thank my colleagues. As you can see this afternoon, we are all together. There are those that want to say this is a fish versus farmers argument. This is an environment versus the economy. This is Trump versus Brown. This is red versus blue. That's all BS. We are all together in this fight. This is a community issue, and it is worth your fight, as my friends at Turlock Irrigation District like to say. So text RSVP, go to our website, stoptheregulatory-drought.com, get educated, keep up the fight, and join me now. Worth your fight! Worth your